I finished writing my book. Right before I filmed this, I wrote the words at the end, and after I film this, I'm gonna send it over to my critique partner. I can't believe we're done. It doesn't feel real because I know there will be changes that I'll have to do once she reads it. I know there's some line level changes I want to do, but it just feels good to like get this off my chest and have it in someone's hands, because this is really the best I can do right now. I think aside from like line level stuff, I'm so close to this. Like literally guys, I was one with the book. Like I wasn't even close to it. Like we were together for so long that I can't really see any objectivity towards like the plot and the structure. So hoping she can give me some feedback around that, and we're gonna just continue working on the line level changes. I really want to make the prose as lush and beautiful as possible, because when I was reading it over I was like, whoa, too many filter words, too much telling. I'm actually going to talk a lot in this video, and I really don't have time to edit it because I'm leaving for my 2-month sabbatical tomorrow. Like literally, this is my luggage over here. This is my luggage right here. So this is going to be like fairly unedited. Hopefully you can treat it like a podcast. Okay, so pretty much like if you want to get caught up really quickly, I was writing draft 2 for the entirety of this year, and draft 2 was pretty much a whole rewrite of my book. The rewrite took me a real long time. I actually finished it like 2.5 weeks ago, and then I did draft 3 in like 2.5 weeks. Draft 3 was essentially just me, one, like cleaning up some of the lines. Some of it was really hard to read. 2, I was adding a lot more stakes. This kind of always happens to me at this stage of the book. It's like when I read the whole book from beginning to end, then I think of all these new ideas of how I can increase the stakes. So I increased the stakes, I think, by a lot. And the way I did draft 3, I really liked it. So I'll show you what I did. I pretty much got the app Good Notes. I'm not saying you have to go out and do this. I use the app Good Notes. And with my, oh, you can't see anything here, but with my Apple pen, can you see anything now? Probably not, right? This is just black, isn't it? Okay, you can't see anything. I marked it up with my Apple pen on this app. It's kind of like just like annotating on a printed copy. So what's next? What else is next? In my last video, I said that I was going to query now, like I'm going to query the book as I send it to my critique partner. I decided I'm not going to do that anymore because I really want to give this book its best chance at being, I was gonna say bringing it to life. Like I wanted to have the best chance in the trad pub's life cycle. Like I really, because if this book does not get an agent, I'm not pursuing trad pub. I wouldn't say in the immediate future. You know what? No, I would say in the immediate future. I would not be pursuing traditional publishing in the immediate future. Like the next 5 years, I will not be trying anything to get my stuff like traditionally published, because I have the 4 books in my indie series that I want to work on. Like I'm not gonna write anything spec, I'm not gonna write anything for that market. And because this is kind of like my only chance, which I feel like I shouldn't be giving myself this much pressure because I can really do whatever I want, but seriously, like if this book does not get an agent, I'm not going to pursue traditional publishing for a while. And I want to get an agent, at least do my best to get an agent before I like completely change gears and put my all in indie publishing. So because of that, I don't want to rush and query. But because in my last video I had the mindset that I wanted to query this book, I ended up looking over my synopsis and my query letter again. So the query letter, I have had the query letter written for like 2 years already. I actually got it workshopped by Maggie Stiefvater. I also had written a synopsis, and both this package, the query and the synopsis, I submitted it to Tin House last year, and then I got it. And so this was all like a long time ago. So I have my package already written, but then I started feeling a lot of doubt because I thought that the query, like even though I workshopped it with Maggie Stiefvater, that was done like 2 years ago, and I don't know if things changed. And with the synopsis, oh my god, the synopsis is the whole thing. I'm gonna explain it. So the synopsis, last year I was so confident in the synopsis. I'll put a clip in from one of my videos last year talking about how confident I was. I was thinking that my synopsis probably stood out too. I think my synopsis is very tight, and I think it hits all the correct plot points that a synopsis should hit. And when you read the synopsis with the opening pages, I think it makes sense. Like it makes cohesive sense to me. I feel like my package gels very well together. Now this year, I think around February, I asked my husband to read the synopsis because I just wanted to make sure that this was like crystal clear, I didn't want any agents to be confused, so he read it, and I think I talked about it in one of the vlogs. While he was reading the synopsis, he asked me questions, and then after he asked me those questions and I answered it for him, I then asked him to like summarize the book for me, and he couldn't. Like, he had no idea what was going on. I was distraught. Like, I couldn't believe that I wrote a synopsis that I was so proud of, that it passed Tin House's applications, and yet it was still so confusing. Like, I could not have a confusing synopsis to the agent, to any agent. So I rewrote the synopsis. Again, this was back in like February. I rewrote the synopsis again, answering all of his questions, clarifying everything. And then I kind of just like forgot that I did that. Like, I forgot the synopsis and then the rewritten synopsis until my last video where I was like, let me try to query in August. I read it over and it was horrible. Hi, I'm editing this video and I just want to clarify. I don't want to seem like I'm harping on him or like he did something bad. I think my husband is super smart. He reads a lot and he usually reads my short fiction. So I usually have him like help me when I'm close to the end just to make sure I don't miss anything. I think ultimately what happened was that I over-explained a lot of things in the synopsis, like in the revised synopsis, that it became unclear why like some things were told because the synopsis is so short. I think, like, I'm not very good at writing one myself, but I think that because it's so short, you only have so much room, and because you only have so much room, you can't go on and on about irrelevant things or else it becomes confusing to the reader. So I think that's just what happened. It was me trying to clarify everything, and I think because I clarified everything, I didn't tie it very well together. And I don't know, I can't remember, but it was just like, I guess it kind of felt like reading history, like a history book, because I was explaining a lot of lore, I was explaining a lot of stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. The one that I revised based on his confusion, it was one of the worst things I have ever read. And I reread, I was like, there's no way I like replaced the original one, right? Like, I didn't just lose the original synopsis. No, I did not. So I reread it over, the original one. I submitted to Tin House, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought it was so much better. But again, I wanted to make sure everything was right? So I asked one of my dearest friends, Eunice, for help. Eunice, if you're watching this, Eunice, you're the best. Like, she knows so much about the traditional publishing industry. She mentors a lot, and Eunice does her own services for query letters. So I asked her if she was able to read over my query and my synopsis, and I feel much better about my query and synopsis. And actually, Eunice let me know that if you want to work with her, she's giving a 10% discount. If you just mention my name in the email or the subject title, she'll give you a 10% discount for all her services and consultation calls. This is not sponsored. I'm offering it to you because I have found it to be super useful. I know for a fact that Eunice has helped her clients get more requests and also offers. I knew that prior to asking Eunice to read my stuff. But anyway, this is just to let you know, FYI too. So if you want to work with her, I'll leave the link to her website down below. All you need to do is email her. So I worked on my query, my synopsis, finished the book all before I left on my sabbatical. Could you believe that? While working a full-time job, while also kind of working on another book at the same time-ish. So as I talked about, I have an indie series that I want to publish, and I actually did a lot of work on that indie book. I don't want this video to be super long, but I guess I can explain it briefly. The thing with like the indie book right now is that it's at a completely different stage. So for me, like when I was working on the book I want to query, this young adult fantasy, like 1 hour, I don't even know if like I could finish revising a book in an hour. Whereas in 1 hour for the indie book, I know exactly what I could do with, like, I could do a lot more with that hour. Like, that hour goes a lot further because I'm in a different part of the process, which doesn't take as long as the young adult fantasy right now. I really don't remember what I've said in the past about the indie book. I think I let you guys know that I got a bunch of betas to read the first 5 chapters. I think I said that, right? I think I mentioned I had 6 people read the first 5 chapters and give me feedback. So I implemented all their feedback notes already. I remember while I was going through their feedback and making changes was that I found myself like wanting to make changes based on everyone's suggestions. And I know you're not supposed to do that, but for some reason I didn't know whether I was just people pleasing or two, if the book actually needed that. So I remember that was like kind of a struggle that I was facing myself while I was kind of deciding whose feedback I wanted to actually use, like what aligned with my vision. I found that a bit harder with this indie book for whatever reason. And sorry, the lighting is going in and out because it's been like torrential raining, and it's been like a little sunny and torrential raining again. I guess now the clouds are covering the sun a little bit. I think I ended up figuring out what I wanted from the beta feedback, and I say think because I actually don't remember. I've been one with the young adult fantasy, so I can't really remember about the indie book right now. And also about the indie book, anything else? Yes, there's actually a lot more. How do I explain this? Okay, you're gonna have to bear with me because it's kind of confusing. All my revision processes are so confusing. So I wrote the whole book in like 7 months, I think, or 8 months. And then I started revising it right after. And I revised up to the midpoint and I stopped because I kind of got stuck. While I was stuck, I sent this first chapter to one of my critique partners. Actually, the critique partner who's gonna critique my young adult fantasy. I sent the first chapter to her to review, and she told me that it wasn't shooketh enough. Okay, I'll link a video. Okay, I can't explain it all. I'm gonna link a video when I talk about shooketh. She gave me the feedback, shooketh. So what I did was that I added a new chapter 1. So the book now starts from here. So the chapters I sent, the beta feedback was like chapters 1 to chapters 5, including the new chapter 1. Now you can kind of see the problem, which is that the beginning is very well revised and edited, but my last 50% of the book is still the first draft version because I haven't touched it since I finished the first draft. So what I need to do for that indie book is that my plan is to edit the second half, so at least the writing kind of matches, like, because right now the first half it's been revised and edited, so it's like this much readable, but the last 50% is still like this much readable. Does that make sense? So that's where my focus will be, either next year or when I come back. I think my plan is when I come back from my 2-month sabbatical is that I'm gonna be working on line editing at the same time as the revisions, just because when I was doing the line editing, like when I was trying to revise my young adult fantasy, like towards the end, I was actually losing it. Like to read my work over and over again, I hated the way I was writing. Like I was crashing out. I was crashing out every second reading my shitty writing. Like, so I think having the balance would be kind of nice. A bunch of other updates on publication stuff. So I've had 2 short stories come out since the last time we spoke. 1 poem come out and another poem is coming out next month. So I'll leave all those links down below. I think I talked about a little bit of all of them. The first one is from the We Make a Village anthology. Wait, let me go grab them. Wait, I think I showed you one of them in one of my last videos. We Make the Village, and my story is called Picture Day, and it got an illustration. Could you believe that? It got a little kitty illustration. I had no idea I was gonna get an illustration, so that was really fun. I love this story. I love the way it was edited. Yeah, this is my story right here. So this was published, I think I did talk about the other short story actually. I did talk about that in my last video. The grass is pinker on the other side with Luna Station. Yeah, I talked about that one. My camera overheated and just died, so we're gonna just do the rest on my phone. We're gonna wrap it up anyway pretty soon. I'm really blasting through these updates. Sorry about that. I don't have time. I'm really trying my best to make sure that the YouTube gods don't hate me because I won't be posting again for like another 3 months. Yeah, by the time you're watching this, it'll be my birthday. So sometimes I like to come on here and talk a little bit about being like an older author tuber and not having anything out yet, like novel wise. But really, I don't think I have too much to say. It's never a good idea to compare yourself to anyone else, and writing takes so much time and energy. There's no point in rushing something that takes so much out of you. Writing a book is not easy, and to sustain a career to do this, I think you really need to be in a certain mindset or a certain time in your life to be able to produce such craft. And as I get older, I just feel so much more comfortable in who I am and the stories I want to tell. So don't feel pressure or rush to want to get something out because you're gonna lose your youth. I think that's, what's the word? I think that's actually, especially for women, I think it's very misogynistic. Don't feel like you won't be able to find success when you get older. I actually find that the older you are, the more opportunities you have to pursue success. So anyway, I don't have any more. Oh, he's still drinking. I don't have any more words of wisdom, but yeah, I think that's it. If you would like to get caught up on all the latest updates for my indie book, you can sign up for my newsletter down below. I'll include Eunice's links, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.